It was 11:57 p.m. when the first knock came, soft as a heartbeat against the trailer's thin door. Rain lashed the roof like it wanted in. Mark Reed, 34, unshaven, still in his grease-stained gas station shirt, froze with a half-eaten peanut butter sandwich in his hand. His 6-year-old daughter, Lily, slept on the couch under his only blanket. $23 sat in his checking account. Another knock, weaker. He opened the door to a girl stood there, 8 maybe, soaked to the bone, barefoot, clutching a one-eyed teddy bear. Water streamed from her dark curls. "Can I stay?" she whispered. "Just a night?" Her voice cracked like thin ice that Mark's chest tightened. He saw Lily in her eyes, saw every night he'd promised his daughter tomorrow would be better. He stepped aside. "Come in before you freeze." She crossed the threshold dripping, leaving tiny footprints on cracked linoleum. Mark grabbed his work jacket from the hook, wrapped it around her shoulders. The sleeves swallowed her arms. Lily stirred, sat up hair wild. "Daddy, is she an angel?" The girl managed a shy smile. "I'm Emma." She held the bear tighter. "This is Mr. Buttons. He's brave." Mark heated the last of yesterday's spaghetti in a dented pot, divided it 3 ways. The girls ate cross-legged on the floor, knees touching, trading giggles over Mr. Button's missing eye. Mark watched from the doorway, throat thick. He hadn't heard Lily laugh like that since her mother left. When the plates were clean, he tucked both girls into Lily's narrow bed. Emma's teeth chattered. Mark draped his only clean towel over her like a blanket and took the floor, pillowless, the chill seeping through the boards. He listened to their breathing even out, 2 small miracles under one leaking roof. Morning came gray. Mark boiled water for oatmeal. No milk, just a pinch of salt. Emma sat at the tiny table, braiding Lily's hair with careful fingers. Lily drew stars on a napkin and slid it across. "For Mr. Buttons, so he can find his way home." Emma's eyes glistened. Mark called the police. "Found a kid, maybe 8, says her dad's car broke down." The dispatcher yawned. "We'll get someone out tomorrow, probably." Emma's face went white. "No police," she begged. "They'll take me away." Mark hung up, heart hammering. "We'll find him ourselves." He skipped his shift, risked the firing. The 3 of them walked the mile to the gas station where he worked. Rain had softened to mist. Emma remembered the car, was silver with a horse on the front. Mark's stomach flipped. Porsche. Mrs. Lopez, the park busybody, leaned over a fence. "Fancy car got towed off the highway last night. Looked expensive." Back home, Emma grew quiet. At dusk, she woke screaming, "Daddy, don't leave." Mark rushed in, gathered her shaking body. "I'm here, kiddo." She buried her face in his shirt. "He's always working. Says money keeps us safe. But I just want him." Mark rocked her the way he rocked Lily through nightmares, humming the lullaby his own mother once sang. Both girls fell asleep, clutching each other's hands. Next morning, a black SUV growled into the gravel lot. A man stepped out, tailored suit, polished shoes, face carved from stress and money. Emma flew past Mark. "Daddy." The man caught her, held her like she might vanish. Then his gaze locked on Mark. "Who are you?" Mark squared his shoulders. "Mark Reed. She knocked on my door 2 nights ago. I kept her safe." The man's eyes narrowed. "David Rutherford. You know who I am." Mark swallowed. "I know who she is. A little girl who needed someone." David studied the trailer. Rust, duct-taped window, the single string of Christmas lights that never came down. He looked at Lily peeking from behind Mark's leg, then at Emma clinging to both of them. Something shifted in his face. "Get in the car. Both of you. Now." Mark hesitated, but Emma tugged his hand. "Please? Just come see." He lifted Lily onto his hip and followed, the SUV door closing like a vault. The drive wound up into hills Mark had only seen from the highway. Gates swung open to a mansion that looked photoshopped. White stone, glass walls, a fountain shaped like a horse. Lily whispered, "Are we a movie?" Inside, marble echoed under their sneakers. A maid offered juice in crystal glasses. Mark declined. "We're fine." David sat them in a living room bigger than the trailer park. "Name your price," he said. Mark blinked. "I don't want money." David frowned. You live in a tin box. Mark's voice stayed steady. It's paid for. It's ours. Emma tugged David's sleeve. Daddy, can I stay one more night? Please. David looked at Mark cutting grapes for Lily with a plastic knife, wiping her chin, listening to her chatter about stars. Something cracked open in the billionaire's eyes. That night, Emma refused her princess bed. She and Lily built a blanket fort in the guest room. Mark sat outside the door, back against the wall, until David appeared with 2 mugs of coffee. I lost my wife 3 years ago, David said quietly. Cancer. Emma became a schedule. Nannies, tutors, boarding school waiting lists. I thought if I gave her everything, she'd never miss anything. He stared into the mug. I was wrong. Mark nodded. Kids don't need everything. They need you. David offered the job again. Head of security, $250,000 a year. Mark turned it down. Lily needs roots, not mansions. Emma overheard, ran out crying. You're leaving? Mark knelt. I'm going home, sweetheart. But you'll always have me. She threw her arms around his neck. Take me with you. David watched from the hallway, tears tracking down his cheeks for the first time in years. Dawn painted the hills gold. David drove them back in silence. At the trailer, workers already swarmed. New roof, fresh paint, a playground rising where weeds once ruled. David handed Mark keys. Community manager, 80 grand. You keep your home. Lily gets scholarship to the best school in the county, Emma's classmate. Mark's voice failed. David added, I sold the mansion. Bought the blue house 2 streets over. Close enough for sleepovers. Emma arrived, clutching Mr. Buttons, now sporting 2 button eyes. Daddy says we're neighbors. Lily squealed. Mark laughed until tears came. 1 year later, the trailer park bloomed. Flowers in window boxes, kids on swings, Saturday barbecues where David flipped burgers beside Mark. Emma's 9th birthday. Mark baked a lopsided cake. David cried when she blew out candles. Lily and Emma wore matching braids. The girls ran through sprinklers while 2 fathers watched, arms over each other's shoulders. Mark never got $1 million. He got something rarer. 2 little girls who called him dad on alternate weekends, and a friend who finally learned that love compounds faster than any stock. Some nights the 4 of them still pile into the old trailer, eat spaghetti from the same dented pot, and count stars through the skylight Mark installed himself. The roof doesn't leak anymore. The hearts inside never did. The SUV's tires crunched gravel as it pulled away from the trailer park, leaving Mark holding Lily's hand while Emma waved from the back window until the car vanished around the bend. Mark's chest felt hollow, like someone had scooped out the warmth Emma left behind. Lily tugged his sleeve. Will we see her again, Daddy? He forced a smile. Hope so, kiddo. Inside, the trailer felt too quiet, the spaghetti pot too empty. 3 days later, a knock rattled the door at dawn. Mark opened it to find David Rutherford on the step, no suit, just jeans and a tired face. In his arms, a cardboard box labeled Emma's favorites. David cleared his throat. She won't stop asking for you, said Mr. Buttons, Mrs. Lily Stars. Mark stepped aside. David entered like a man entering church. They sat at the tiny table. David opened the box, crayons, a glittery notebook, 2 matching friendship bracelets Emma had twisted from yarn. She made these at 2 a.m., David said. Wouldn't sleep till I promised to deliver them. Lily squealed, snapped a bracelet on her wrist, then on Mark's. The pink yarn looked ridiculous against his callous skin. He didn't take it off. David stayed for coffee. Black, no sugar, from Mark's chip pot. He stared at the duct-taped window. I keep replaying that night, he said. You opened your door with nothing to gain. I've got boardrooms full of people who'd sell their souls for a fraction of what you gave away. Mark shrugged. She was cold. David laughed, a rusty sound. Cold, right? That afternoon, David returned with a toolbox and a quiet determination. He climbed the trailer's roof in borrowed sneakers, hammered shingles beside Mark until sweat soaked their shirts. Lily and Emma. David had brought her too. Sat on the steps sharing popsicles, legs swinging. Emma called up, Daddy, don't fall. David glanced down, face soft. Trying not to, Princess. By dusk, the roof gleamed dark and solid. David wiped his hands on a rag. I haven't used a hammer since college, he admitted. Mark grinned. You're hired. David's eyes glistened. I'd like that. Word spread. The trailer park's landlord, sensing opportunity, jacked up rents. Mark stared at the notice. $200 more a month, impossible. He tucked it in his pocket so Lily wouldn't see. That night, David showed up with pizza and a folder. I bought the park, he said simply. Deeds in your name as manager. Rent's frozen. Fixes on me. Mark's mouth opened, closed. David added, I'm learning. Slowly, the changes came fast. Potholes filled. Streetlights installed. A community garden sprouted where the old junk pile rotted. Mark walked the rows at sunrise, clipboard in hand, greeting neighbors by name. Mrs. Lopez brought tamales on Fridays. Kids called him Mr. Mark. David showed up weekends in work boots, learning to lay brick for the new playground. Emma and Lily raced ahead, planning swings shaped like Stars Point. One Saturday, the girls begged for a campout. Mark dragged out the old tent, patched with duct tape. David arrived with an air mattress still in plastic. I Googled camping, he confessed. They pitched the tent in the freshly mowed field. Mark built a fire. David burned 3 marshmallows before producing 1 golden. The girls roasted hot dogs on sticks, faces glowing. Emma leaned against David's side. This is better than the mansion, she said. David kissed her hair. Yeah, it is. Fall brought school. Lily clutched her new backpack. Emma's hand-me-down, monogrammed, but loved. The private academy's gates loomed. Mark's stomach knotted. David parked the SUV, walked them in. The headmistress greeted David by name. Her gaze flicked to Mark's worn boots. David's voice turned steel. Mr. Reed's daughter is on full scholarship. Same as mine. Any questions? The woman smiled too wide. Of course, Mr. Rutherford. Inside, Lily hesitated at the classroom door. Emma took her hand. We'll sit together. Mark watched them disappear, 2 braids bouncing. David clapped his shoulder. They'll be fine. Mark nodded, throat tight. On the way out, David said, I enrolled in the dad volunteer list. Apparently, I'm chaperoning the planetarium trip. Mark laughed. Bring snacks. Winter crept in. The trailer's new heater hummed. One night's snow dusted the park. The girls begged to build a snowman. Mark layered them in mismatched scarves. David arrived with a carrot nose and a top hat he'd bought online. They rolled lopsided balls until their fingers froze. Emma's snowman wore Mr. Buttons like a scarf. David snapped photos, eyes shining. Later, inside, Mark made cocoa with water and a single marshmallow split 4 ways. David sipped, grimaced, then smiled. Perfect. Spring exploded in color. The community garden burst with tomatoes. Mark taught David to can sauce. Jars lined the trailer's counter like rubies. Emma's 9th birthday fell on a Saturday. Mark baked a cake, chocolate, lopsided, Happy 9 Emma, in shaky icing. David arrived with balloons and a wrap box. Inside, a new teddy bear, twin to Mr. Buttons, named Mr. Stars. Emma hugged Mark so hard the cake nearly slid off the table. David filmed on his phone, tears slipping unnoticed. Summer evenings found the 4 of them on the trailer's new porch. Mark had built it with scrap wood and David's credit card. Fireflies blinked. Lily and Emma chased them in jars. David strummed a guitar he was learning, notes clumsy but earnest. Mark leaned back, pink bracelet still on his wrist, faded but intact. David's voice drifted low. I used to think success was a number on a screen. Turns out it's this. He gestured at the girls, the porch, the jar of flickering lights. Mark nodded. Took me longer to learn that than you. One August night, thunder rolled. The girls begged for a sleepover in the trailer, like the first night, Emma said. Mark dragged out extra blankets. David carried in a pizza box. They ate on the floor, legs tangled, telling ghost stories until the girls dozed mid-sentence. Mark and David sat on the porch steps, rain soft on the new tin roof. David spoke into the dark. I almost lost her that night, she ran. You gave her back to me. Mark's voice was rough. You gave me a village. David bumped his shoulder. Partners. Mark extended a fist. David bumped it. Partners. Years folded like pages. Lily and Emma grew tall, braids traded for ponytails, then loose waves. Mark's hair grayed at the temples. David's suit stayed in the closet. The trailer park became a haven, scholarships, summer camps, a library in the old laundry building. Mark ran it all with quiet efficiency. David funded it with louder gratitude that on the 10th anniversary of that rainy night, the community threw a party. String lights crisscrossed the playground. Tables groaned with potluck dishes. Emma, now 18, stood on a picnic table with a microphone. 10 years ago, I knocked on a stranger's door, she began. Cheers erupted. She pointed to Mark. That man opened it, and opened his heart. Lily, beside her, raised a glass of sparkling cider. To Dad, and to Uncle David, who taught us family isn't blood. It's choice. Later, under the same string lights, Mark and David sat on the porch steps again. The girls danced with friends, laughter rising like sparks. David pulled 2 yarn bracelets from his pocket. Pink, frayed, treasures. Still got mine, he said. Mark held up his wrist. Never came off. They sat in silence, watching fireflies, listening to the music of a life rebuilt one kind act at a time. Mark spoke first. Think that little girl with the one-eyed bear knew what she started? David smiled. She just wanted to not be alone. Mark nodded. Mission accomplished. They clinked cider bottles, the sound small and perfect against the night. Inside the trailer, the dented spaghetti pot still hung on its nail, polished now. A relic of the night, everything changed. The roof held steady. The hearts inside beat stronger. And somewhere in the dark, 2 yarn bracelets glowed faintly, proof that love, once given, never runs out.